I'm Kathleen, and I'm going to be showing you how to properly execute a tennis serve. If any of you have seen a professional tennis player do a technically good serve in a game, then you probably understand how significant and powerful that kind of serve can be. It's the first action taken in a match, and it depends entirely upon the concentration and the skill of the server. One professional tennis player who is very well known for his serve is Andy Roddick, and he has, I believe, the highest speed recorded serve of all time at 155 miles per hour. So you can imagine how difficult it must be for the other player to return a serve like that, especially with the accuracy that Andy Roddick has cultivated. Culligan wrote an article on Andy Roddick's serve in the September of 2007 issue of Popular Mechanics entitled "The Tennis Physics, the Anatomy of a Serve." And there are so many sources out there about Andy Roddick's serve because analysts have tried to break it down and decide what it actually is about it that makes it so effective, but it's still kind of a mystery, and there are all different theories out there. But Andy Roddick is pretty much a perfect testament to the fact that a powerful serve can really greatly increase your chances of victory in a tennis match. I believe that tennis in general is one of the best forms of exercise because, for one thing, you're working your entire body, but also it's a mental exercise in terms of maintaining focus and not allowing the other player to distract you or intimidate you. That's a very important element of the game, and especially the serve. I've gone through tennis training and played on my high school team for 3 years, so I know how difficult it can be in the beginning, but I know that also that mastering the basics and finding your comfort zone can be very beneficial to your game. Now, a technically good serve can be broken down into different factors like grip, strong stance, a good toss of the ball, where and when and how you contact the ball with your racket, and your follow-through also. A very good source for learning and perfecting your game is Tennis for Dummies, which was written by Patrick McEnroe, who was in fact a professional tennis player himself. I will begin my demonstration with showing you how to execute proper grip. Now, this is called the Eastern grip, also called the handshake grip, and it's generally recommended for beginners. But the way that Tennis for Dummies instructs us to achieve this grip is by placing your hand on the strings of the racket and just lowering it until you feel the bottom of the grip, and then closing your hand. And this is also called the handshake grip because this is essentially the same motion you would take if you were shaking someone's hand. You just close your hand on the grip like so. There are more complicated grips that you can practice, but as I said, this one is the best for beginners. It's the simplest. So now that we've covered grip, I will move on to proper stance. Now, you need to start at the baseline, which is the very back line of the tennis court, and ideally you should be toward the center of the baseline. You need to have your feet shoulder width apart, and your dominant foot should be put back so that your toes are pointing to one or the other side of the net. You should also place the majority of your weight on your back foot so that when you swing for the ball, you're propelling yourself forward. After achieving this stance, a player will generally take a few moments for relaxation, and the way that usually occurs is they just bounce the ball a few times and focus on the serve that they're about to execute. If a moment of hesitation occurs, you should definitely repeat this process, because going into a serve with doubt and hesitation is only going to hurt your performance. You need to feel very confident about it and very focused. Now, generally, what signals the beginning of a serve is just tapping the ball to the racket. This also will give you another second to mentally prepare, also physically prepare, and it's a good starting point for the serve. Finally, I will illustrate the toss of the ball and the swing of the racket, as well as the follow-through, as these generally occur in a very smooth motion. Now, in terms of tossing the ball, you should begin by holding it gently between your thumb and your two front fingers, and just in a very smooth motion, lower your arm all the way down, raise it up, and release the ball when your arm is fully extended. You should also aim the ball about a foot ahead of you and a little bit to the right. This aids in creating the momentum and propelling you forward into the court as you strike the ball, so that you can be ready for the other player's return of your serve. Now for the swing and the follow-through. After you've tapped the ball to the racket, you just swing down and around, and then touch the racket to your back almost, like you're scratching your back, and your elbows should be vertical here. And then some people will begin with this position in their serve because they're more comfortable with it, but I personally prefer beginning with the tap to the racket with the ball. And then after you have tossed the ball, you will come forward in an arc motion, and your arm should still be up. And you should hit the ball when it's almost out of your reach. And this also helps to propel you forward. But after you make contact with the ball, you completely follow through and use both hands to grab the racket as you lower it to your opposite side. You should also focus on keeping your eyes on the ball so that you're looking up after you toss, and then you can follow through on the swing. This aids in the smoothness of the serve, and like I said, it helps to propel you forward into the court. Now, in conclusion, the serve is an extremely significant aspect of the game, and if you can master these basics and find your serve, so to speak, then you can greatly increase your chances of being a very good player, a very successful player. But in my opinion, the most important thing to remember is to just follow the steps and maintain a calm composure and focus, be confident, and just find the specific method that is right for you. So thank you very much, and I hope you learned something.